Hello, welcome back to Let's Play the Journeyman Project 3 Legacy of Time as we continue on with finding artifacts in Shangri-La. I can't believe I did this twice. So I recorded this episode already, and so I was in the area that got hit by tornadoes a couple days ago, and our power was out for 7 hours, so I had to turn everything off, which it's fine. I got everything on UPSs. But apparently my amplifier for my microphone did not turn back on automatically. I didn't find out until after I recorded this episode. So we get to do it again. And again, I'm angry I did that same thing. But anyways.
You can thank phosphorescent yellow lichen for the romantic mood lighting in these tunnels. But from what I hear, all the fun's definitely in the red lichen district.
And you may not notice this at first, so there's definitely this door. Not quite sure how it works, but the lever moves the big heavy door, and somehow it doesn't fall.
The lever probably rolls the stone wheel over the adjacent passageway. Alright, now be careful, because pulling the lever will open a way for you, but block the other passage.
Now, like, obviously once it's seated in, it's in like a little pocket. I assume there must be like a track there or something that it's keeping it in place and not falling, but there's also something else here that we want to notice, and that's the symbol.
This tunnel map is helpful, but I think I can add something that would make it even more useful. I'll start updating the positions of the doors onto the map after we've been to a location. I'll also mark our current position on the map. Now that I've done that, can we maybe talk about giving me a raise, a kind word, overtime pay, sick leave?
I think I had to click on his thought bubble for that last time, so I don't know why that popped up automatically. And it feels like something that, at least as I recall playing this in my childhood, that you had to visit a couple rooms and notice a couple of these symbols before he would update your map. Which, these are a little hard to notice and out of the way because they are literally right above your head. But he is telling the truth. He is updating the positions of the doors and showing where we are based on the markings, which he somehow observes even if you don't look at them. Although I suppose a certain amount can be inferred just by where you're traveling from and which direction.
This symbol corresponds with one of the symbols on the map you found in the greenhouse. These symbols should help us match our position in the tunnels to the map.
It's a nice quality of life feature, so that way you don't have to, like, keep track of everything, which, honestly, this isn't a huge, like, map, so to speak, so, like, it wouldn't be too hard to keep track of with memory or pen and paper. But it does make things easier. Now, there's a couple of things. So we're going to save ourselves. No, we're not going to save ourselves grief. But, oops. Okay, we'll just grab it at the next junction. But there's more help messages that Arthur has for the whatchamacallit, the symbols in the ceiling, which is why I'm kind of surprised he updates our map so readily.
There's another symbol. Looks like they were placed on the walls to mark positions to help people find their way.
So, we actually want to move this right now. And we have two objectives today. We're going to get one object of salvation and one marble. Well, actually, we're going to get 2 marbles, probably. But we have to get the object of salvation in order to get our second marble. So we should be able to just keep following this path. Yes. Now, there's no point in moving this door because by default, this door is blocked on here. It's they make it a little tricky to get to the the butter sculpture room that the Dop was working in, which, if you recall our conversation with him that we had with him as Emil the gardener, he was working on a sculpture in the butter room, and he was worried it would melt, so he shifted a bunch of doors to redirect the steam, and he redirected too much steam into the greenhouse, which caused the plants to get sick.
With all this steam, it's no wonder the Khan has such smooth skin.
So we have to be quick there, otherwise the Khan will hear us, turn around, and punch us. It doesn't kill us, and he doesn't pursue us and try to stab us, fortunately, but I would prefer to not anger the Khan. So, actually, well, I guess now I gotta wait for... It's really weird. It's like you get one step, and then the whole tunnel. But, here we go. Object analysis. Item sword. Date found 14th of April, 1219 AD. Location Himalayan Mountains. This blood-stained iron sword is a razor-sharp weapon. From the writings on the scabbard, the sword is of Tibetan design. And thankfully that actually worked out better than last time, where I could not get it to stay on the screen. So, we have our object of salvation. And now, it's time to get our marble. So we're going to move this guy real quick. I think, damn it. All right, so we are going to try to head to the room. All right, which I think, yeah, we can go forward again here. Now, this was actually my least favorite puzzle in all the game, and still kind of is. I think a lot of that is just because as a kid, I wasn't quite able to infer what they wanted. Like, I had the right idea. I knew I had to redirect the heat. I just wasn't quite sure how. And, or like, rather, I didn't know what path it needed to follow while still being able to access the room. So, I think some of my resentment for this puzzle stems from that, because what I ended up doing was just basically running around the tunnels pulling random levers for hours on end until I got it. It's hardly a difficult puzzle, especially when you know what they want, and it's a little tedious. There's a lot of walking, obviously, but it's not that tedious.
It's good, yeah, but I prefer something more along the lines of a bull-leaping Buddha on black velvet. This mural is a representation of the Buddha, much like the black statue in this room, but it appears that this depiction emphasizes the inside of the Buddha's body. And over here is the X-ray of a smoking Buddha. The writing on the wall loosely translates to, "Channel your energy to obtain the enlightenment you seek."
And there's more clues here if somehow you've reached this room and still don't know what you need to do.
Welcome to the Wax Museum. Along the north wall, you will see a marvelous replica of Boris Karloff as the Black Buddha. From the tools and instruments, I'd say someone is using this room to create yak butter sculptures. Or the monks have started a lucrative leg waxing business.
So we do indeed have the Black Buddha here.
The shrine of the Hell's Realm. To burn away their sins.
Yet another hint, which you could get another hint from talking to the llama, which we will do later.
That sketch shows detailed plans to build a Buddha statue. From all the butter churning equipment, I'd say it's a schematic to build a better butter Buddha.
And we can get some yak butter right here. Oh. If I can find an angle that will let me read it. Object analysis, item butter boiler. Oh. Damn it. Date found 14th of... Yeah, this was what was happening last time. This is very picky. And of course, if you let it flicker too long, it crashes. Come on. Date found 14th of April, 1219 AD, location Himalayan mountains. A heavy iron pot used to bring yak butter to a boiling temperature. The boiler is currently filled with melted yak butter. Okay. So, we have to bring a purifying flame in here, and there's the more churning, so churn, squish, squish, squish. But yeah, this is where the Dab was working. This statue, I do not believe, is made from the Dab, since it's part of the Cetus path, and he claimed he knew nothing of it. So, like, I don't think he knows the true function of that. He might have been working on a different sculpture, maybe a smaller one that he took with him. But I don't think he was working on that one. All right, come on. There we go. So, we need to... Now, I think if you were to go back to the llama and ask him about the Hells Realm, and maybe do a little more investigation, Arthur would tell you that you need to redirect the steam from two of these steam vents or heat vents, whatever you want to call them, into the Hell Room. So we need, yep. So we need, come on, let me out. So we will up. Did I go? Nope. Okay, I can't close this one yet. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to play musical doors here so we can melt the better butter Buddha. And we gotta go past the hot spring heat vent, steam vent thing. I'm sorry, it's been like a week or two. I forget what Arthur called them. But, geothermal vents, I could call them that. That's probably accurate to some degree. I like the sound of it, but... Okay, so we want to move you over there. And now we gotta go back to where we were and move that vent or that door, and then go to the one just outside the hot spring and then move that door. So it's a bit of work, but not too bad. Like I said, if you know what you're doing, this isn't hard. And some of the rules weren't clear to me as a kid, I think. Like, I thought the two had to go, like, combine independently as opposed to just flowing one through the other to the Hell Room. But it's pretty easy. You just flow one into another and then into the Hell Room. Oh shoot, did I might have forgotten to do one thing. That would make this more annoying. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. So we're going to close this. This is... Now we gotta go all the way back and switch the door outside the vent. And then And then we gotta go back and close the door that we came out of or that we had to pass through to get the Khan's sword. Okay, we're going to, I have to, oh, right, I can go to the sides. So we're going to, I'm going to toggle on the caps lock for this, and we're going to just run through this at Olympic marathon speeds. Okay, so we move this one. And now we go back through the vent. And then we can move this door. There we go.
I'm detecting a definite shift in temperature. You did it, Gage!
There we go. We have now melted Better Butter Buddha. So now we can go back and see the delicious results of our efforts. Although it's going to take a little bit to get back there. Yeah, I got to keep going here. And then that brings us to the second one. And then we go down this tunnel. And then we keep going. And then we keep going. And then we take this tunnel. And then we're finally there.
You did it, Gage! That butter statue didn't stand a chance against your hot hand. Now let's wade through this stuff and find butter-coated enlightenment.
And find butter-coated enlightenment we shall. I like how you get the music sting for doing this. Which sounds very ominous, because it's very reminiscent of the music they had playing when, like, the Kuo-Fala were blowing stuff up, or when, like, the Kuo-Fala and the Sorolans were fighting in the past.
There's a black stone in that gooey mess. It's right in the cup.
Yeah, for some reason there is a cup holding it. I suppose that makes it easier to find, although I don't know how it wouldn't be covered in butter. But we can take the stone, and as we will see, it is a polished black stone of common composition with a perfectly spherical shape, much like all the other stones we've been collecting. So that's had to be some pretty old butter, probably. And it's kind of impressive no one accidentally melted it, shifting tunnels around over the centuries or millennia even. But now we just have one more marble to collect. So we want to go back to the next tunnel. I'll probably turn on sprinter speed when it gives me the option to next. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we are going to flip this door, and then we'll be able to take these tunnels right into the monastery where the llama is. So we're just going to run, and then we will climb up and ask him about the Hell's Realm, just so we can complete all our dialogue there. Although it is redundant at this point. There we go. Nope, we don't want to be the llama. We want to be Genghis Khan. All right. So now we will slowly walk over to the Khan. Or not the Khan, the llama. I'm sorry, I'm confuzzled. We had our smoke alarms and stuff going off overnight for no reason.
Great Khan, how may I be of service to you?
So I did not sleep well last night.
Tell me about the realms.
Which realm do you wish to know about?
Tell me about the Hells.
Hell. Truly a terrible place. This is the domain of the wicked and sinful. Those tortured for the transgressions of the past, suffering in hells of both searing heat and numbing cold. The symbol for salvation is a purifying heat that burns away all sin.
Goodbye.
Walk with peace, brother.
So we now know the backstory of the Hell's Realm, at least as far as his little hint on how to solve it. And that again, I think that might be Arthur's trigger to tell you, hey, you gotta redirect the heat from 2 of the 3 tunnels there, or 2 of the 3 hotspots. But I know he tells you, I just forget.
Now we have the salvation symbol for the Ashurus realm. Let's go back to the red statue and place this sword into its hand.
And he reminds you of that too. It's like they expected you to go straight up into the monastery, and then they remind you just in case you forget somehow. Alright. And this is a little... Fortunately, the Khan is not paying too much attention outside his tent. So we're just going to... I like how we stole his sword from him while we were like 5 feet from him. And now we're going to transmute his sword into a stone while we're 10 feet from him, right outside his tent. And he won't notice. So we are going to take that, and now we have the red stone, a polished red stone of common composition. Its shape is perfectly spherical. So now that we have all these stones, it is time for us to get the artifact and solve the final puzzle. However, that will happen next time, as will also the epic finale to both this game and the series. But until then, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you then.